Hello, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to more League of Legends news. I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's summary, the summary of the past 5 to 7 days of all the huge changes happening in North America. I think we've pretty much solidified a lot of the big changes out there in North America. Monday we'll talk about Europe, Wednesday we'll talk about Korea, guys, but for now, in the North American region, we've probably solidified the majority of trades and swaps so far. As you guys know, there will probably be a few more coming, especially as we talk about OpTic down the line, but I'm going to wrap up for all of you the last week or so of trades and a lot of teams out there across the board. When we look at all our main regions out there, it's certainly North America probably making some of the biggest changes as well as some of the most questionable changes for a lot of teams out there. In my opinion, I think we've solidified our top 2 or 3 teams so far. I think Liquid still remains up there, 100 Thieves making some great acquirements or acquisitions as usual, and of course you got to put Cloud9 back up there with their recent run as well. Besides that though, the fall off could be tremendous and the questions do remain true about many teams out there and who exactly they signed or exactly why they signed these players. For the one team I'm not questioning right now this might be a bit of a surprise, that's actually CLG's new roster, guys. They actually announced both their academy full roster and their main full roster. The biggest upgrade, of course, on paper going to be PoE from OpTic. Obviously a big upgrade from Huhi, or I think a substantial upgrade. I know you guys love the guy, but certainly it's going to be a top 3 mid laner there if he keeps up his performance that he had over at OG, guys. A certain improvement in the mid lane. On top of that though, I think a lot of this roster is actually underwhelming. Now I'm not going to doubt you guys, Darshan is certainly of the underwhelming characters on this roster, certainly the highest of them. Not too much to say about that role. Alongside though, Wiggly in the jungler role is going to be a bit of a question mark. Certainly unproven, but definitely a talent that I think many people can agree over the past split has proven himself to be a rising star and have a potential high ceiling, but again, unproven and still has to be questioned. I think though the most underrated duo of the team, guys, will be Stixxay alongside his partner, and it's going to be kind of crazy to see how Biofrost does keep up with this roster, guys. Now one of the veterans of the roster, and statistically speaking, we've seen in the past, especially when you look at their last 6 games of that last split, guys, CLG of course crumbled, especially in the mid to late game. Now kind of notorious for that all season long. They built up big gold leads, they lost big gold leads, but when it came to early game, it was this duo, Stixxay and Biofrost, who was certainly one of the best in North America, and if they can keep that up and actually for once, with the help of Weldon, extend that out to mid game, maybe even late game, I really do believe the potential of this team is certainly there. I know on paper a lot of doubts with Darshan and especially Wiggly, but if all these players, of course with any team, right, if all these players can reach their caps, they can definitely reach success. I think this roster though will certainly be improved, and I hope a top half team for North America, but a lot of their teams out there are certainly raising bigger question marks. That's why I really trust CLG. I like the direction they're going. One team I cannot say the same thing for is actually OpTic Gaming. Of course, this past week we heard huge news about them signing two junglers, which is obviously an odd thing for the team. They still need an ADC on that roster, but keep in mind one thing, guys, as rumors do soar as to why they of course first signed Meteos. I think a lot of mixed opinions about Meteos. I know a lot of you guys are hyped on this guy. I think even I would dare to say slightly overrated from what we've seen. We haven't really seen much ever since he was sent to FlyQuest Academy. So alongside that, I do think they signed Dardoch potentially to sell out that contract. It was very surprising to see Dardoch, who should have had several offers, actually sign with OpTic, and we knew TSM was possibly an option for him. I would not be surprised at all to see Dardoch sold off, whether it's going to be sometime soon or sometime down the road, to acquire a higher role somewhere else. And along with that, they keep Arrow and they keep Dokla. I know Dokla is not a person that many people are high on. I'm okay with these keeps. You lose Acadian to TSM Academy. I do think as one though, effectively they actually keep Dardoch away from several teams out there. Not only one thing, 2 birds with 1 stone, guys. Think about this. They take away Dardoch from Echo Fox, who they've also lost Huni. That roster, in my opinion, we'll talk about next, is pretty much been flushed out, and I'm very concerned about where they go direction-wise. They not only kill off Echo Fox, guys, they also keep Dardoch for now out of the hands of TSM and probably grasp a few stepping stones closer to them. I don't really understand the signing of Crown along with these guys. They obviously reached deep into their pockets to sign these 3, that being Meteos, Dardoch, and now Crown as well as their import slot. I'm confused in the direction, but I trust the strategy, guys. Alongside that, of course, naming a brand new head coach. Zebutine actually returns to the roster though, but just a change of roles, and they also changed their GM on top of that. Of course, losing Roman at the head coaching role, I think a lot of people would agree is probably a bit of a loss to the team, but personality wise, we're not really sure the turmoil that was actually going on inside that roster. So the biggest question mark of any team out there, I would say direction wise, has to be OpTic Gaming, but they've certainly left a lot of teams out there like Echo Fox, well, grasping for players. It's actually Echo Fox changing their entire roster, guys. guys, which I'm very worrisome to see where this roster does go. Of course, like I said previously, you lose Huni, you lose Dardoch, two players I thought maybe would potentially stay and re-sign, but they couldn't lock them down. Echo Fox, I believe, is a team potentially in North American LCS this next split will probably drop off the biggest of any of these teams, especially with a brand new roster for at least the first split. Yes, they might have pretty good cohesion after a while and pretty good ceiling caps, but let's see where this roster can go at the start, because it's definitely going to be maybe a potentially rough one. And then we also have people like TSM, or orgs like TSM, making questionable moves like Broken Blade from the TCL. We had many TCL players signed throughout the split so far. You guys have seen one in Korea, one in, of course, EU, and now one in North America. TCL is wrecking things in terms of signings. That's a questionable move. Also, Cloud9 adding Niski after a loss of Jensen. Certainly a questionable move, but I think probably still going to be a very solid roster and certainly going to be a top 4, in my opinion, both splits. But again, across North America, we saw some very questionable things. I think we have a pretty solid top 3, maybe 4 teams out there with a lot of teams to follow in terms of cohesion, how these new rosters will mesh together. I'm super excited to see it, honestly. A lot of these teams we predict could do well, could do terribly to start off. You know, a team like Echo Fox starting out with a brand new flushed out roster, they could compete right away and only go up from there. Alongside that, though, very lastly, guys, I'm going to make a bold statement, maybe not a bold statement. If you guys agree, leave a comment down below. I think Golden Guardians are going to make the biggest improvements out of any team in terms of number of wins increase from their former splits. Of course, 4 and 14, then 5 and 13, guys. Unfortunately enough for the team from spring to summer. I still think this could be, though, a potentially 6, 7, 8 win roster, a roster to compete for the top half, and they've made improvements in all 3 of their replacements so far, guys. Ole, Hanser, and Froggen have now all joined that roster, and I think significant improvements in each one of those roles. Again, comment down below if you guys disagree. Of all the rosters out there who made improvements, these are, in my opinion, solidified improvements that can only better this team. Again, in terms of cohesion, how they're going to play together, nobody knows, but certainly in terms of talent, better improvements in that roster, and I think only a couple steps up for this roster. Will they break 5 wins? I certainly think so. Is that a bold prediction, though? Maybe not. You know, they really couldn't get too much worse, so maybe I'm being hopeful for that roster. But it's really cool to see as well. Froggen finally signed again. A lot of rumors out there as to exactly where he was going to go. There was a couple of European teams, a couple of North American teams. It is now Golden Guardians, the one I did not expect coming, to actually sign Froggen alongside Ole, guys, and Hanser to finish off that roster. And I am very excited to see what these North American teams can do. If you guys think the rankings are good so far, I'm going to go with this for our top. Let's name our top 5 teams. I'm going to go Liquid, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, TSM, CLG. CLG is the pinky finger. But I hope you guys all enjoy. As always, my name is Jake. I'll see you guys back here Monday as we break down all the European trades and swaps so far. And again, we'll also rank our top 5 teams predictions. I know we're a bit off. We're actually very, very far off from our next split, but it's fun to predict things before we get into those very serious matches. As always, hope you guys all enjoy. I will see you back here. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Special reveal here before the duos compete. I'm Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, joined by Andrew Vedius Day and Isaac Azale Cummings Bentley for the next upcoming matches. But back to that reveal, it seems we have a very particular duo making an appearance here today.
Yeah, a new duo, never before seen. We got Xayah. And what's the second half?
What's the best part to go with Xayah? Another Xayah.
Another Xayah.
That, like, it's like looking at a mirror. That indistinguishable.